Hey everyone, and thanks for tuning into the AFV factory. So this new amusing hobby kit has just found its way to me today after being lost for a little while in the post. And this is the PT-91, which is a Polish main battle tank, also known I believe as a Tordy, which is Polish for hard. And as you can see from the box art, it's another modernisation on the T-72 tank. Obviously, Poland once being part of the Soviet Union, these tanks were spread all across of Eastern Europe, and obviously when the Iron Curtain fell, they continued to use them, and then have gradually modernised them over the years to try and bring them up to a, um, a usable level, even if they're not up to sort of a cutting edge level. So yeah, let's lift the box, lift the lid, and let's have a look at what's going on inside. Okay, let's start with having a look through the instruction manual. As you can see from the picture there, there's a lot of added on armour, um, certainly to the front and probably the top of the turret, and on the glacis plate, and some on the side on the track armour there, but still very much a T-72 underneath. So we've got the usual thing on the first page, a list of all the sprues. Um, we've got some 3D parts. I've not come across those yet, so not too sure what they are. The usual workable tracks. I'm not sure whether the suspension works. It would make sense that it does, but yeah, and then just a general breakdown of everything. Got the lower hull in there, turret upper, small photo etch sprue, small decal sheet, but everything looks as you would expect on any other instruction booklet that you open up. And likewise with the beginning, starting off with the lower hull and adding on access panels and the beginnings of building up the drivetrain. We've got return rollers here, and then we move on to the sprockets here and what houses the idler up the front. The first T-72 that Amusing Hobby did, I looked it up, was in 2020, and since then they've released several variants, but they're all listed on Scalemates as new parts. So this chassis will, or this T-72 in its entirety will be that 2020 release, then with the add-on armor to make it up to change it into the PT-91. So for anybody who's built a T-72, you're going to be in familiar ground here. Yeah, so we're just carrying on adding stuff to the underside of the hull, the beginnings of the running gear. We've got the rear plate there, ready to take on the external fuel drums and the ubiquitous log that you find on every single Soviet or Russian vehicle since the Second World War. Yeah, so it's torsion bar suspension, so it is workable, which makes sense because the tracks are workable. But everything seems to be well laid out and clear to follow. There's nothing much that's going to cause a headache by the looks of it. There's the tracks, so we've got individual links, and then with individual pins. So we'll have a look at those in a bit when I take those out of the box. But they should be fairly straightforward to do. This isn't a new way of building tracks, so I suspect quite a few people have been down this route with these. these pins that are attached to a small piece of sprue, and you just slot them in and then cut the sprue away. So over onto this page, and we're starting out assembling the chassis upper, which looks like it comes in sections rather than having one entire top for the chassis or the hull. So you can see where the sections of the new ERA armour is going on. I did read that it was they designed it specifically to be these closed boxes, as opposed to the early Soviet ERA that you see where the boxes are have gaps all the way around them, because they're not square, they're tapered as they come out, which obviously is a weakness, because if something incoming round or something goes down in between the two blocks, then they're not going to be doing the job that they need to do to hopefully stop anything getting through the actual armor itself. Yeah, so yes, we've just got a little diagram here just to show that you are orientating this top armor that goes above the main glacis armor, and then just just onto lights and the eyelets for the shackles to attach to. So yeah, so this is going on. Obviously, it's probably a 3-part chassis upper. I would think the front glacis would be the middle bit that takes the turret, and then the rear engine deck. So that seems to be coming together very well. The proof obviously will be in the pudding when I start to assemble this, which fortunately won't be straight away because I've literally just started building their Centurion Action X. So this will be next, but that's not going to be for some little time. So yeah, I mean, this is just continually building on to the top onto the chassis with stowage bins, etc. Exhaust parts here. Yeah, so here's your turret ring, driver's hatch, some grills there which are part of the PE. This is always good. I like to see this when they put the hoses in for, or the fuel lines in for the external tanks. Quite often you see kits with the tanks on, but the manufacturer hasn't supplied the fuel lines, which they have there, and there's an actual photograph of how it would look on the actual vehicle. So that's quite smart, and that comes with some wire which is in the kit, so that you can make that up. So that's a nice touch. Yeah, and so here we're just basically, so this is the finish of the chassis. The track armor is going on, and then the additional ERA blocks are going onto that. Not too sure what this is. It's again an orientation note, part Z11. So if that might be some PE, which is going down there on either side, possibly. And then we're on to the turret. Nothing internal on this model, so fairly simple. Well, so there's a bit going on. So yes, obviously again straightforward. The upper and lower coming together, and where the housing where the barrel joins or comes through, doesn't really join to it. And then we get to the sort of busy stages here with the ERA blocks, smoke dischargers, some sort of infrared or thermal sight there, gunner's sight and commander's sight, I would imagine. And again, not many small part sub-assemblies really. You've got some little bits and pieces here, sort of hatches and handles, which are quite fine. And obviously, because the scale demands it to be small, so. But this is going to be the last page, I think, almost. Yeah, and again, so we're adding stowage bins around the side of the turret, which again is standard T-72 stuff. More the ERA going on now. The other side of the smoke discharges, and then finally I suppose this is the commander's cupola with the heavy machine gun, isn't it? 12.7mm machine gun. Infrared lamps, I'm guessing, is what that is. Periscope there. It's pity it's got a two-piece barrel. I just noticed that. I do have a Voyager metal barrel, so I probably will be adding that to it. But I'll assemble this barrel just to sort of see what it's like when it goes together. And then we'll finish off with some paints, or a paint scheme. There are some decals in there, but they're not on this. They haven't been shown to be on here. Yeah, so there it is. Let's have a look at the bits in the box. So I've pre-cut open all these bags, so it goes a bit more speedily than me trying to hack my way into them. So yeah, so straight away here we have the main barrel in two halves, and I think this is a good demonstration of where Amusing Hobby was sort of 5 years ago as to where they are now, because that would not be two parts now, that would be in one part slide molded, as is the barrel on the Centurion that I'm working on, which is slide molded, and it even has rifling in the muzzle of it, which is, you know, really nice to see. So it's interesting, be interested to see what this is like from 5 years ago. So we've got the front of the track guards here. Some bits I recognise, and just looking to see if there's any obvious sink marks or ejector pin marks, which I can't. I thought this was damaged. It's actually the that's the unditching log, and they've deliberately put big like splits in it, which I quite like. That it's a nice bit of detail. But yeah, nothing bad to say on that. We've got a small selection of clear parts here, the usual things, lenses for the infrared lights and indicators, main lights, etc, etc. So we've got two sprues here that are both the same, which again, just for fuel, the external fuel drums, which are solid. Let's see, they've slide molded those, so they had the technology back then. And here are the torsion bars, which are quite fine actually, so need to have a bit of care with those because they've got 4 attachment points, so yeah, and care cleaning them up as well, I would have thought. But otherwise yeah, it's just, you know, the hooks for shackles, and number 2, that's exactly the same. Worry about that. This is the hull lower, or the chassis lower. So again, very easily identified as the bottom of a T-72. Got a few pin marks there that need to be removed, but no, that's on the bottom of it. It's not detrimental. That's what I was trying to say. So yeah, the ejector pin marks are all on the inside, which will never be seen. Looks like you might have to do maybe do some hole drilling in there. They've got some sink marks there, no, deliberate sink marks there. So something either attaches there, or you need to drill through. Let's have a look at the tracks. So yeah, there are the individual links with the pinholes in them, if you can make that out there. And they look nice and crisp, nicely detailed. And then here we have the pins, which, as you can see, pretty simple to use, really. It's one of those things, and it comes with a jig. So yeah, it's one of those things where it will be a lot of time snipping these off and making sure that they're clean, so there's nothing going to be fouling. Likewise here, and then I would imagine the assembly of those would go pretty quickly once you got into a rhythm, as is tracks quite often. They seem to start off being slow and laborious, and then you suddenly find your speed and you're away with it. Here's the turret upper. So although a lot of that will disappear underneath the new armour, it's got some really good texture on there. Really rough, typical Russian, big, heavy weld marks. The discoloration there, where a bit of a sink mark in there, but it's not come through. It's a long way from coming through. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Right, so here we are onto some of the armour, some of the new armour, and it's pretty much what what you get now if you start to look at modern tanks, or certainly modernised tanks, where they've been up armoured, and you get these panels, these tiles, and obviously the idea is if they get damaged or they do their job, it's easy just to replace them. Probably easily done just behind the battle lines. Quick for maintenance, and then the smoke dischargers attach here, and the smoke dischargers are up the top there. And again, it's simple stuff, but they've got nice little indents in them where the covers over them are. So and here we are with the standard side armor for the tracks. I've got that upside down in my. This is the front. If you see on the picture, Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't know whether this is as an armor thing or it's just making it silhouette different because you can't see in underneath the tank, or a bit of both. Perhaps someone could let me know if they know. And then you've got, this is obviously the glacis plate um, tiles here. And everything is, it's neat and tidy. Again, I can't see any problems with anything. I mean, it doesn't really matter what it looks like on the back, because that's the whole idea. So here we've got 1, 2, 3. So this is all the wheels, sprockets and idlers, and more, either more or different smoke discharges here. Wheels look nice and crisp. The tyres have got the lines on them. That's crisply done, if you can see that. And we've got wheel hubs here. At this point, the microphone died, and so I'm now doing this last bit as a voiceover. So here we see some more parts for the turret. Got the turret lower with the turret ring on it. There's an extra part of a turret top, which I'm assuming means that this sprue appears in more than one kit of Amusing Hobbies, and so they can change how the hatches and the cupola look. What else can we see on this sprue? So, as I said, there's the lower with the turret ring, and we've got the heavy machine gun there, 12.7mm machine gun, which I'll have a look in a minute and show that it is actually slide molded, so it does have an opening at the front of it, which is good. I'm talking here something. Oh, hatches, yeah, the fact that the hatches have got some nice texture on it, and they've got some numbers imprinted on there as well. Here I'm looking at grab handles, the slightly smaller parts of the model. There's the canvas protector for the shield where the barrel enters the turret. And we're going to have a look at this machine gun. Yeah, there you go. So you can see that the muzzle is open, so it won't need you to drill it out, which is good. So these are again, we've got a few more duplicate parts here with regards to the trackside armor, but what we've got also is the track guards, the upper part of the track enclosure, and there's the transmission hubs there for the sprockets. And other parts for the chassis itself. So this is the final sprue. And here we've got, again, chassis parts. That's the center of the 3-part chassis upper. We've got the glacis plate there, which I'll point to in a second. There we go. Which then obviously then gets covered by the new armour. We've got some grills there, and we can match those up with some PE. Not a lot of PE, but some good bits in there. So yeah, that's pretty much covered what's on that sprue, I think. Just having a look at the back of it there, which obviously where all the ejector pins hide. So here's the PE, not the PE, sorry, the 3D printed part, which seems to be a common occurrence with Amusing Hobby now. They're adding in little bits of PE, which is a nice touch. So this is, I would imagine it's part of the gun laying system, and is probably either an infrared or thermal sight, probably accessed by both the commander and the gunner, and part of the modernisation program that the T-72 went through to become the PT-91. But we're seeing these multimedia kits more and more now. You know, you've got the main styrene and plastic, you've got photo etch and 3D printed parts in there, so that's nice. So this is the PE fret, as again there's those mesh grills, very fine mesh grills, and then the last few bits, a piece of string, and in here we have the fuel lines for the external tanks, which is made from a length of electrical wire, which has got like a copper wire core in there, which is ideal because it's incredibly flexible and you can bend it into sort of any shape very easily. So that'll be good for, you know, following the correct route from the fuel tanks in. And this is a length of spring, which it's the first time I've ever seen this in a kit before. I'm not 100% sure what it's for. That maybe will hopefully become apparent when I start to build the kit, but yeah, I'll catch up with you all soon.